hopefully that time lapse worked out all right. Otherwise, there's the sunrise. Hopefully my big head's not in the way. But absolutely stellar sunrise. So this is the tripod lookout. Did a bit of the, full drive track to get up here. And yeah, check out the absolute wicked sunrise over the bushland really. Look at it, so expansive, it's amazing. There must be so much stuff out there wildlife wise, which I'm going to try and check out today. Hit the beaches up a bit yesterday, obviously, but I want to try and hit up some, there's goannas on the island. I'm pretty sure they would be lacies. I haven't looked into it, but I've heard there's goannas and I've seen goanna tracks, which I'll show you in a second. But otherwise, yeah, morning, and yeah, I'm ready for an adventure. So I tried to get a time lapse of that sunrise. I woke up to try and get it in all its glory. So hopefully it worked out. Otherwise, you're just seeing it now. So yeah, I come up with a coffee, binos in case I saw birds. It's just your general stuff getting around. Rainbow lorikeets and that kind of thing. Quite a bit of. Teresian crows. And a lot of other twitting going on that I'm not 100% sure of. But otherwise, come with me. Quickly go and have a look at this. So, this is your tracks, basic tracks with Blake. Look at this one. Tail drag, and then there's little footprints either side, little like scratch marks, long toe, and then a shorter toe as well. So that's your goanna feet. As they're walking along, their tail's dragging, they've got their little back legs scratching out. You can see he's gone. He's done a bit out here. This one I'm not sure of. This one is like a little macropod. See it bouncing along. So I reckon these feet are far too small. Macropod is it like kangaroos and stuff like that. That's a really good one. They look like little kangaroo feet, but it's far too small, I reckon. And there's no other like parent around for it to be like a joey kangaroo jumping around, because there's no other big ones around. So it's got to be something like a little bettong sized animal or something like that. I'll put up a photo of a rufous bettong for reference. Excuse me. Yeah, in case you guys don't know what I'm talking about. So yeah, there's a lot going on. There's more. These feet are a bit bigger, I reckon. But yeah, there's more. Is that goanna? Yeah, more goanna tracks. And yeah, if you just saw like a smooth slithering along, there's probably a snake. But yeah, that's your goanna tracks you can look out for. Goanna's pretty easy. And then that's definitely some type of macropod. And there's a lot of human footprints, which I'm sure you're all aware of what they look like. But yeah, look, this is where this goanna's come from. We're backtracking at the moment. You can see its feet are going that way. But yeah, probably lace monitor, lacy, which is what your second largest goanna, Varanus varius. So yeah, that'd be pretty sick to see one of those. I'd be pretty keen on that. But otherwise, what am I going to hit up today? And what's the goanna would be good. Try and get some actual footage of seagulls, which would be awesome. I can see them anywhere on the island, but I'll get the best vantage point along the beaches because I can currently see the ocean that way and the ocean that way. So yeah, and seagulls don't even care about the ocean really. They're not going to always be around there. And yeah, blue lake, brown lake I can swim at. But you'll still see all of this throughout the video, so there's no point in me rattling off every point I'm going to go to. Just sit back and watch it really and enjoy. So sun's fueled me up, so did the coffee and some breakfast, and then I'm going to head down to the car and officially start the day. So let's go. And just on that, with my hands full with all my stuff, when was the last time you saw a sunset or a sunrise? You should ask yourself that question. Some people couldn't care less about them, but when you think about it, like they happen every day, obviously, and they're pretty bloody beautiful. And they're, for the most part, always really different, depending on the cloud coverage, how the sunlight dances on the clouds and the colors you get and all that kind of thing. So sunrises are a bit harder for people, having to wake up early. If you want to, and you can hit up a sunrise, I reckon you should do it. But sunsets as well, that's pretty accessible for almost everyone. So go see a sunset and yeah, and just enjoy, just take it in. Just watch the sunset, assess what happened that day, and well, hell, don't do anything. Just appreciate the beauty. You can think about your day if you want and sort of, yeah, mentally align, take inventory for the day, or you can, look at that, you can just appreciate what it is. The sun going up and coming down, and like it's done for however long, and it'll do for however long more. Just appreciate it. So there you go. cruising the tripod track now. So I've gone through a couple of habitat types, which is wicked. It's gone from that real sort of sand dune. When I saw sunrise, that was proper like just sand dunes and low-lying heath country. I want to describe it as. Now I've got some like ferns on either side of the road. It's more, yeah, fern and forest. And there's some grass trees and stuff like that. All right, well, get that one out of the road. Whoops, go this way. So, whoop, maybe this was a bad idea. No, we're up. So, still cruising the tripod track. I reckon I'm yeah, more or less the whole way through. So I've just changed habitat types. I've gone from a really sand dune-y, as you saw with where the sunrise was, really sort of sandy sand dune, low heath country, I want to describe it as. And now I've gone into, there's ferns, it's more eucalypt and sort of other stuff going on forest, just more forested region in general, closed forest and taller canopy and that kind of stuff. We're hitting a bit more sand now, it's just changed to a bit more open forest, less ferns. But the dominant habitat was just like that real, the banksias, the big fluffy like seed potty kind of stuff. Heaps of that through the sand dunes, and now it's just more tall, open eucalypt. Not sure which species it is, but absolutely beautiful to be cruising through and just seeing that transition between the sandy sand dunes to the more sandy forests and that kind of stuff. There's still, yeah, quite a bit of sand. It basically is sand what I'm going through now, a bit more compacted with some soil, but I haven't had to lower the tyres or anything like that, even for the really sort of softer stuff. Back at the sand dunes, it wasn't anything to really worry about. In terms of wildlife, not a lot around. Like bird-wise, there's birds cruising past, going back and forth and that kind of thing. But otherwise, yeah, nothing cool as yet. A lot of tracks you can see on the road for kangaroos and that kind of thing. Wallabies, goannas, whatever else is around here. But nothing cruising around just yet. 7:30 in the morning and it's 22 degrees. So hopefully something comes out into that dappled sunlight and wants to warm themselves up and show themselves. But otherwise, even just looking at the habitat that I'm seeing, it's well worth this drive. A real easy one if you ever get round here. You've got a four-wheel drive. I mean, if you head to the beaches, you can easily do this. This is a real beautiful track that I didn't even know about until the camp guide told me when I picked up my four-wheel drive permit. So yeah, definitely get around it. Alrighty, so I just arrived at the Nari Bajong Dajara section or national park. I don't think it's a section of a whole national park, I think it's a national park itself. I'm about to embark on a 7.8 kilometer hike. So it's 8 o'clock in the morning, so it should be nice before it gets too hot. There was it was 3Ks out to a point, 3Ks back, and then there's a little 1.8 section that you can continue on to make it a loop. So it can be a one in and out or a loop. So I've decided to do the loop. I could have gone to Mount Vane, which is going to be 6Ks, go up a mountain, have apparently spectacular views of the Gold Coast, Brisbane, Glasshouse Mountains, that kind of thing. But I've decided to go along this bush track and stick along the lower section rather than go up a mountain, purely because I think that there's going to be far more opportunities for bird life and reptiles and that kind of stuff. I go past 2 lagoons on this track, and I think I go past 2, if not at least 1 lookout as well. So yeah, would have been spectacular views, I'm sure. You can hear there's a whole heap of lorikeets cruising around, rainbows. But I think this is going to be far more fruitful in potentially seeing some, yeah, lace monitors and stuff like that, and different kinds of bird life. So that's the plan. That's where I'm going to be heading out. So yeah, it's estimated to take around 3 hours or so. So hopefully it doesn't take ridiculously longer than that. Hopefully it doesn't get too hot. Apparently, there you go, there's a, oof. You see that? They, yeah, having a good time. So there's the banksies I was talking about. They were just jumping on the little rainbow lorikeets. But it's a pretty open canopy, so hopefully, yeah, it doesn't get too ridiculously hot and stuff like that. But otherwise, it's got water and all that kind of thing, so it'll be nice nonetheless. Now, what I want to have happen, beautiful walk around, get nice and warm, not ridiculously hot, and then I'm going to head over to the lake to go for a swim, and then probably the beach again before I leave. So I leave at 4 o'clock, or the ferry, excuse me, leaves at 4 o'clock this afternoon, whether I'm on it or not. So that's the plan, and let's get into it. I've just gone up a little bit of a hill. Yeah, we're back and forth climbing up the path from Blue Lake. So Blue Lake wasn't incredibly blue. I think you have to get there at the right time, the sun hitting and all that kind of stuff. Crystal clear water, yes, but otherwise wasn't amazingly blue or anything like that. It was still pretty nice. So yeah, I'm a little bit puffed now. Just getting up that little hill. I'm on now, don't know what track it is, but there's a 1.8 kilometer connection or little track. They've broken the tracks up into little sections, I suppose for the different habitat types you're going through, which is what I'm going through at the moment. Just walked through a spider web. Whoops. Get rid of her. Rainbows. So yeah, now I'm on this little connection, and then when this is over, then it'll be a 3Ks up the other side of the circuit back. So this is nice along a ridge. Hopefully I get a bit of a nicer view out when I get to a point. But there's a lot of grass trees, as you can see, banksias, and still, yeah, quite a sandy bottom. So there you go. There's another spider there. So a lot of these like warp weavers cruising around. I don't know if you can see her cleaning her leg there. There you go. Just licking her fingers, her toes, her whatever they are. There's spider webs everywhere, so not ideal, but there you go. In terms of bird life, a bit, again, just rainbows and that kind of stuff. Laughing kookaburras cruising around. What else? Not that I can think of, just a lot of rainbows and that kind of stuff. Oh, there was silver eyes, which are quite nice. I enjoy silver eyes. And yeah, other than that, nothing else cruising around. It has been pretty shaded down along that lower section. I was hoping, I'm not sure if there are red bellies on the island, but I was hoping more in that riparian vegetation that there would be some red bellies. There's a lot of marks all over the track, as you can see. A lot of little tracks and traces from random animals. There's some wallaby tracks, there you go. So there's a toe, and sort of like coming out like that, sort of like antlers. So yeah, that'd probably be, I don't know, based on the size, I guess it could be anything. It could be a small grey kangaroo, or it could be a swamp wallaby that they've got over here as well. But yeah, no reptiles as yet, other than the little baby skink. Still chasing that Lacey. Hopefully it comes to fruition. I actually get to see one. But otherwise, it's still beautiful. It is ramping up with that heat. So getting to Brown Lake, as unappealing as it sounds, is going to be awesome to go for a swim and a cool off. So very much looking forward to that. Hopefully you can hear me all right. Decent enough lookout. I'm just getting close so the microphone is just picking up my voice instead of picking up the atrocious wind up here. But the lookout's all right. Nothing too spectacular. I reckon that one over there, I said you could see Mount Vale, the mountain you could have climbed, which I assume is probably that little lump there. I assume it's that lump, but otherwise, yeah, it's decent enough. It is choppy as all hell out there at the moment, but that's the eastern side of the island, so that's out over open ocean. Next landmass, I suppose, is a big enough one. It's probably out to go that way. Somewhere is New Zealand out that way. But otherwise, hopefully it's, yeah, a lot more sheltered on the other side for the ferry trip. Yeah, I don't know if they get cancelled easily enough or not on Kangaroo Island. They sometimes cancel them if it got a bit too choppy. But either way, nice little lookout. And now I just start the 3Ks back to the car park along this track. So yeah, epic little walk, or epic sort of moderate walk, I suppose it is. Where I'm at the 5.69 kilometre mark now, but I did do a little sort of, not a half detour, but there was around Blue Lake, there was a little sort of track you could go around the outer edge of the lake for a bit longer, and I didn't realise it was dead end, so I probably wouldn't have done it otherwise. It wasn't too spectacular, but excellent vegetation to be looking at. Absolutely beautiful. And nobody else around, so all I'm hearing and seeing is another spider. It's a little bird. All I'm hearing and seeing is, yeah, just the sounds of nature. It's absolutely brilliant. Like, I haven't seen anyone else today, which has been cool. So yeah, it's just been me, just doing my own thing, which is beautiful. So yeah, no sounds of anything else cruising around or mucking up the day. Just absolute bliss, just walking around and appreciating just this raw nature. Absolute beauty.